The Dallas Mavericks are back in the second round of the NBA playoffs after taking care of business against the Los Angeles Clippers in 6 games. Harrison Graham, Jeffrey Cooperstein here to preview round 2 of the Western Conference playoffs. Dallas, Oklahoma City, OKC, the 1 seed in the West. The Mavericks, of course, the 5 seed. Game 1 will be Tuesday night, 8:30 Central Time in Oklahoma City. Who you got? Type DAL for the Mavericks, OKC for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Who wins this game? And if you want to go above and beyond, let us know how many games it goes. Coop and I will give our official predictions later on in the video. Before we get to some of the keys to victory, the series schedule, all that stuff, Coop, Maxi Kleber, on kind of an unfortunate, I won't call it a dirty play, just kind of a hard foul from Amir Coffey in Game 6 against the Clippers. Took an awkward fall on that right shoulder. Did not return. They're calling it a sprained shoulder. We're filming this after the game on Thursday night. Don't have a deep diagnosis, but he was doubtful to return. Did not return day-to-day at this point, but I think he's probably going to miss a little time here.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully he doesn't miss too much time and he can come back somewhat in this series against the Thunder. And credit to Maxi Kleber, man, especially in the last 2 games.
He had a good series.
He was playing very well. I would say, he did have a good series overall. And the Mavs do need him because he gives them a different look from the center spot that Lively and Gafford don't give you. He stretches the floor, and when he plays the 4 as well, he gives the Mavs length. So you absolutely need Maxi Kleber. Hopefully his injury is not serious. The Mavs, will have 3 days off here, and maybe he misses 2 games in this series and comes back for the home game 3. I hope so.
I mean, I think just looking at this matchup, too, I feel like he's a prime candidate to guard Chet Holmgren some.
Agreed.
I mean,
100%.
He can stretch under the perimeter with Holmgren, so this is a notable one. Keep an eye on this one as the days go on. Could Tim Hardaway Jr. return? He was set to return potentially, was it Game 4?
Game 5.
Game 5, but then he retweaked that ankle in a scrimmage in practice. So we'll see. 3 days off before Game 1. I feel like he will be back in this series. I don't know if it will be in the first game. The good news is I thought Dante, Exum, and Josh Green in the last 2 games of the Clipper series played a little bit better. They
came alive.
They weren't at least unplayable like Exum was at times in that series.
Yeah, I mean, we were thinking that we needed Tim to come back to give them 10 minutes off the bench.
Would still like him to be available.
Absolutely. So, hopefully they can get Tim back here soon.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. I think he's close, but Game 1, 50-50, I'd say, for that opening game. Speaking of which, here is the schedule. Kind of a tough one. Now, the travel between the 2 locations, it's about a half-hour flight, OKC to Dallas, so that's no big deal. But, Coop, you're playing every other day the first 5 games, which is not easy regardless of travel. Game 1, Tuesday, and then you got Thursday, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday. Extra game before Game 6, and then if it were to go to 7, it would be on Monday, May 20th. So that is the schedule. TV networks all over the place. We, of course, will be live for every single game with watch parties. So subscribe and join us for that. You look at Oklahoma City, Coop, little scouting report. They're a very balanced team. I mean, they obviously got their MVP candidate in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but their starting 5 all scores in double figures. I think Aaron Wiggins has kind of been an unsung hero of this team off the bench, so they're pretty balanced across the board.
Yeah, they're a very good team. I mean, they're the number 1 seed in this conference for a reason, 57 wins this year. And where they really stand out to me is, I think, on the defensive end, they are so long and so athletic that they can defend any sort of type of team. Like, they'll put Shai on Luka. They'll have Chet Holmgren to guard the centers as well. And I know Chet doesn't bring that necessarily strength that you have, but he does have other things that can really disrupt.
Great shot blocker.
You have Lou Dort and Jalen Williams on the wings who are really big and disruptive. So it's certainly a tough test for the Mavericks. I mean, this will be, I think, the best team that they play, and that's why they were the 1 seed in this conference.
Yeah, I mean, look, I still would rather play OKC than Denver, but look, the team won 57 games.
Absolutely.
They did not look like a team with a deer in the headlights in their first notable playoff series. They took care of New Orleans. Now, New Orleans was without Zion, so it wasn't exactly murderer's row there. But still, they swept them, took care of business. They're going to be the more fresh team. So Dallas is going to have to match the energy. I think kind of like the Clippers series, you're looking to split those first 2 road games and
100%.
get your legs underneath you. If you can do that, you'll be in a good spot.
Go get a split, and then you see what happens because you have the home court advantage after that, and we saw the Mavs were pretty damn good at home throughout the first series against the Clippers. So I like their chances if they at least get a split.
Absolutely. Coming up, we got keys to victory in this series. What does Dallas need to do to take down Oklahoma City in the second round? We'll tell you about that here in just a few moments. But first, got to tell you about our sponsor. It is Prize Picks. Shout out to Prize Picks. Daily fantasy made easy. It's fun. It's easy. You can change your lineup every single day. The action is heating up with the NBA playoffs. Round 2 getting going here shortly. You also got the NHL playoff stars gearing up for a Game 7 here after losing Game 6 on the road. Why not get in on the fun action? PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100. It takes less than 90 seconds to download the app, less than 60 seconds to make your first entry. The way it works, 2 to 6 player entries, they give you stat projections for players, and you choose more or less. So, for example, they might have Luka set at 32.5 points. You either take the more or the less on that. You could do rebounds, points plus rebounds plus assists. You could do assists, 3-pointers made. If you're doing other sports, you could do goals, shots, all that type of stuff in hockey, baseball as well. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. The code CLNS gets that deposit match up to $100. Link and code will be in the description. Comments of this video. Support our sponsors. That supports us here at Chat Sports. All right, Coop. Keys to victory here. Make someone besides SGA beat you.
Certainly.
I think it's a good one. Look, that doesn't mean he's not going to be effective, but I think you got to really make him work and put the ball in Josh Giddey's hands, some of these other guys' hands, and don't let him average 30-plus in this series.
Absolutely. And that's not to say the Thunder don't have other guys that can beat you, but, I mean, Shai is their MVP for a reason. The guy averages 30.3 points, as we showed you earlier, and he's absolutely dynamic. So the Mavs are going to have to throw their best defender on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, whether that be P.J. Washington, whether that be Derrick Jones, whoever the case may be, and they're going to have to make life as difficult as possible for him because we know that that's how the Thunder are going to want to play. They're going to want to play through Shai, and hopefully the Mavs can be the team that stifles him.
Early opinion, I think Derrick Jones gets the assignment first. I think he's a little quicker than Washington. And I think they might throw Washington at Chet some because he can be physical with Holmgren. So keep an eye on that. We'll see how that plays out, which gets us to our next point. Get physical.
Exactly.
You can do it with Gafford. You can do it with Lively. I think Washington can body him up a little bit as well. Look, Holmgren, it's not that he's not a tough player, but he's got a thin frame. I mean, body him a little bit. Make him feel your presence. You
have Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, 2 of the most physical centers in the league. So make his life difficult, man. I mean, this is the postseason. Get in the weeds and just make him feel you. Absolutely.
Make him live on the perimeter too.
Yeah.
Make him feel like when he goes inside, he might score, but he's going to feel it when he does.
Absolutely.
Score.
Look, Chet's a damn good player. If Victor wasn't in the NBA, he would have won Rookie of the Year. But if you can really just body him and try to be physical with him every single possession, it'll wear through the course of a series.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think you got to shoot the 3-ball better, Coop.
No doubt.
Some of that's Luka. And look, if the 3-ball isn't falling for Luka, you don't have to shoot 8 of them a game. I get it. If it's catch and shoot open, you need to take those. But if the step back isn't there, it's not there. I get that's part of his offensive arsenal. I get that's part of what makes him a special offensive player. But we saw in this series that against the Clippers, he was pretty unstoppable when he got into the paint. He didn't always make those shots. Notably in Game 6, he missed a lot of shots he'd normally make. But get downhill if it's not falling. But you certainly need to shoot a higher percentage, I think, because Oklahoma City is going to be a good shooting team.
Absolutely. Luka missed his first 7 there in the Game 6 closeout game against the Clippers. And overall, as a team, they just didn't shoot it all that well from 3. I'd like them to just be better in that category, because if you are better in that category, it just opens up so much more. And given the versatility of this Thunder team, you need to be able to score every which way possible.
4, test their inexperience. How do you do that? Well, I think you gotta, number one, you gotta bring the edge, right?
Absolutely, bring the competitive edge.
Bring the competitive edge, put pressure on. get early leads. What you can't do is what you did against the Clippers in 2 games and just total no-show.
That brings us to key number 5.
I think they tie in together, Coop. I think if you start fast and physical, I think that's a key part of it as well. When the Mavs locked in defensively against the Clippers struggled to score. They really did. I think the same can happen here. I know that the Thunder probably got more volume of options, but outside of Shai, they also don't have that dominant guy that can go get you 25 whenever he wants. So if you can make it tough and make them earn tough shots, I feel like the Mavs match up fairly well in this series.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very good matchup. I think this is going to be a really high-quality series. A lot of good basketball played. Their coach, Mark Daniel, won Coach of the Year as well. So they're a well-coached team. They're a very good team, but a very young team. And I think the Mavericks do have more playoff experience to this point in time, and hopefully they can use that to their advantage.
Kyrie's been through the battles. Luka's had enough series under his belt at this point. So the Mavs definitely have the experience edge. What is the biggest key to victory versus Oklahoma City? What do you guys think? Let us know in the comment section down below. Coop, my official prediction, I'm going to go Mavs in 6 again. I think they get a split.
I love it.
I think they get a split. They take care of business at home. They close it out in Game 6. This series could go either way. I'd be surprised if it didn't go at least 6 either way.
Agreed.
I think the Thunder were the better team in the regular season, but I think after the trades, Dallas hammered them. Which game was that?
There was a matinee game where they killed.
They beat them by 35.
Yeah.
They can absolutely beat this team. You need your 2 stars to go be the best players in this series.
Look, I was going to say Mavs in 7, but I think you talked me into it. I'll go Mavs in 6 as well. Close it out at home once again. And look, I think this team is absolutely capable of that. Like we outlined earlier, they're the more experienced team. They do have the two best playoff performers. I know how good Shai is, don't get me wrong. But give me Luka and Kyrie over anybody any day, man.
I mean, even with Shai, even if you want to say he's the best of this series, which I think we know it's Luka, but even if you can see that, you easily have the next 2 best players.
No question.
That's not even a question. So you've got the better duo. I think the role players can go with OKC's role players. So we'll see how it goes. This should be a fun series. Both series in the West are good. T-Wolves, Nuggets. I'm fired up for that one as well. So should be a fun second round. Mavs win the first round. Time for round number 2. Game 1 on Tuesday night. We'll have an update Monday, maybe a new injury report, so stay tuned for that. Coop and I are out. Get the MFFLs in the chat. We'll see you soon.